boxing news over here with the baby assassin, Roman. How are you? Thanks for joining us from California in this interview. I know we right now we have to do it over a video call, things like that, in order for safety. It's a pleasure to have you over here. How do you feel?
Thank you, Christian, for having me here. I'm excited. I'm waiting for. They said something around May, so I'm getting ready for that. Trying to stay active, trying to stay fit, and good thing I don't struggle with the weight, so everything's been good. Just waiting on the fight date.
That's great to hear those news because I remember you last fight that was against Payano, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Great fight, great performance. I seen in your record in all the fights that you've been facing in the past. Great fights. I mean, you've been fighting tough guys, undefeated fighters. How does it work for you right now that you have to train harder because you already know the level is different when you going and stepping in another weight and going to somebody else that he will bring different style. How does it work for you?
Oh well, the build up for my career, my promoters, my manager, they always put me against a position that it will like teach me. It will actually teach me, and it'll take me the distance so I can like get the experience. So by when the time it came for the title eliminator, I was more than ready. Then we won that. We won for the world title and in Japan, and all these fights. I mean, it's been tough, but everything's been helping me to build me up. And now that I know how it is to get back on top, so I got to put in the work I was putting in before I became a champion. And I'm more than hungry again to get back to the top.
Hey, that's great to hear those news. And by the way, to me, in my eyes, you are a champion. Once you be champion one time, is forever a champion. It doesn't matter right now if you don't carry the title. I know in the past, I seen you. I actually met TJ Doheny, if I'm not mistaken, the
Yes.
Irish guy.
Yes.
After the fight was finished, it was done. You guys took a picture. And that's great to see that such a gentleman's both for you. So, what was it for you to win on that night against TJ Doheny?
No, it was a unification fight. He was the IBF champion. I was the WBA champion, and it happened here in my hometown in Inglewood, California. And I was in my hometown. He came from Australia, and the fight ended up happening. Hats off to him. He's been I could say you could say he's been the toughest fight of my career. I got respect for TJ. He came in, he took the challenge. I was challenging all the champions at that time, and he was the one that stepped up and took the challenge, And he gave it all. I gave him my best, and I came out victorious, And by the end of the day, it's a sport. We win and we lose, so respect to him. He showed respect to me, and me as well, Nothing but respect for him.
It's great to hear that the way you comment and let's say in your opponents, and that's great to hear that from every fighter when I bump into people like you, an example, because I always tell fighters, and with all due respect to everyone out there, is like, don't be afraid if you lose the zero, because sometimes fighters they afraid to lose the zero. But if you remember, or if you go back to like Oscar de la Hoya, Sugar Ray Leonard, and I can continue mentioning more fighters, Fernando Vargas, and all these fighters. These fighters they let it go the zero, and look at that. We go back, we remember fights like this, and it's exactly what I meant to say when I look in your career, because I noticed that you've been facing opponents with undefeated. So what was it for you to go out there and see someone else is zero, you are zero, and let's get to rumble, I guess.
No, I mean, like you said, even the great champions, that was before us, they lost, A few of them kept being undefeated, We got the latest one, Floyd Mayweather, you know. Great fighter too, But like I believe that you learn more from a loss than a win, And you can either like get back up and learn from it, or you can stay down and lose to that loss. So it mean all this stuff helps you out and it builds you up to becoming the fighter that you're gonna be. It even makes you. It sometimes even makes you great.
Yeah, I agree with you, and as I mentioned before, with all due respect to everyone out there, I know sometimes they got their losses and everything, but look, if we started mentioning names like I just said it, we already saw great fights, and especially one of your fights, it was great. I mean, most of the fights are great, but these are the fights that people, if you go back, and then we're gonna probably gonna be more older, later, if God willing, if we still here and exist, we're gonna start remembering your fights and all that, because I'm one of the guys that, I love the sport, and I miss to be, at the scenes and gather together. As a matter of fact, how does it work for you right now during these hard times and the pandemic? How does it work for you to handle this situation, like you have to go to the gym, or do you train at home? Can you tell us, please?
Well, this pandemic, COVID hasn't been helping. I believe all of us. Uh, when it first started, they closed all the gyms, so it was hard for me to keep in shape. But like I did what I could. I trained at the house. I went for a run at the park. Try to keep myself fit. Now everything seems like to be getting stabilized. They're opening everything back again, so it's a good thing, But like we try to work as how we can, I know some of the guys can be at the gym, but they're doing the best they can to keep themselves in shape. Good thing, a friend invited us to his private gym, and we got to get to work there, or just maybe like a handful of us, because we're watching out, we're taking care of ourselves from all this pandemic going on. So it hasn't been easy, but like we gotta work with what we can.
It's true, because right now, it's there is a news that vaccines are they're coming out in order that people get vaccinated and all of that. But until we don't see, I guess, more results or better things ahead, I think we have to continue being safety, and we just gotta wish the best for each and everyone, and stay healthy and keep our social distance. It's hard for me. I don't know if for you it is. I mean, I don't know if you've been in that situation, or what would it be that situation that, let's say, an example, right? You have to go and fight inside the ring, and there is no public. How would you feel, or what would it be your reaction on that?
Oh, yes. My last fight against Payano, it was like that. It was just the commentators and the judges. It feels a lot different. I would say it feels a lot different than when you fight with the crowd, with the audience. You can feel like even when you're in a fight, you can feel the adrenaline transmitting to you from the people, that energy, and that screaming, that shouting, that motivation, and but like I said, you gotta keep on fighting. There's a guy in front of you, so you gotta do the best to win.
Exactly.
Same, and I believe it was the same for him. We can't. You know what? There's no crowd, but we still gotta fight. We still gotta get that W.
Yes, and I asked this question because I feel like it's kind of weird. I know it's a lonely sport, what we mentioned, and we know the fighters, they have to go out there once the fight starts. It's only the fighter and the other opponent, and that's it, because fans, they be right there, supporting you, even though if they going against you. But I think this is part of the sport, and to me, with all due respect, I miss that part, because it's like fighting it. Let's say an example, if it would be me going out there, I know I have to face my opponent, I have to go and I think fight my opponent, but it would be different. It would be kind of weird not having fans, or I guess someone that will go against me, that, because sometimes, people, you need that type of environment, because that motivates you more, isn't it?
Yes, yes, it does. I mean, I experienced it from the last fight. I felt how I felt. Everything was quiet. It was just you could hear his corner, you could hear my corner. So it was that quiet. But like, yeah, having a crowd, having an audience, it motivates you. It makes you bring out that extra. Because you winning, either they're screaming with you or against you. You know, all that motivates you.
Is true. And talking about crowd and all of that, right now we're seeing events that they're going on in most likely Texas, which is we seen different fights, and one of them is that calls my attention, and one of the fighters that right now is pound for pound king, whether people liked it or not, whether people agree or not, but that's the name right now that everyone is targeting. Canelo Alvarez. What do you think about his career and the upcoming fight against Billy Joe Saunders?
Canelo, I mean, he's having a tough fight against Billy Joe Saunders. The champion against the champion. So it should be a good fight. I mean, people are saying he's the best. I mean, he's the face of boxing. Canelo is good, you know, but like everybody's opinion is different, you know. I like Canelo. I like the way he fights. I seen him fight. He's been improving. He's been getting ready for every fight, you know. But like, it just depends on the fighters he's gonna fight, you know. The adjustment he gotta make and during the fight and the opposition he goes against. So he has achieved a lot. I'm gonna say no, but like for me, he's a great fighter, but I won't say he's the best. You know.
Exactly. I mean, it's respectable your opinion. Everyone's different. Everyone has a different opinions, and we mentioned that Canelo's background is very interesting. I mean, to me, everyone's background is interesting. And talking about backgrounds, what was the motive to make you become a boxer? Can you tell us a little bit of the story? Like, what does it make you to say, hey, I want to jump in the ring and become a boxer, become a professional? Can you tell us, please?
Well, I started boxing. I was playing football a day, soccer, and I got beat up that day. I came home crying. At that time, my cousin and my brother they were doing boxing with my uncle. So you know what? My dad said, you know what? It's time for you to defend yourself, learn how to fight. We ain't always gonna be there. So they sent me with my uncle and my cousin and my brother. So that's how it all started, you know. But I didn't know nothing about the sport. I started getting the hang of it, winning a few amateur fights, and I was like, you know what? I think this sport's for me. You know, I'm actually good, and I'm improving on every fight, and I like it. And that's how I started. And as professional, uh, I wasn't boxing at that those months, but like my dad said, you know what? Let's try this. You know, he paid the gym, and I was like, Dad, come on, I don't even want to go. So little by little, my dad knew how to get to me, and I ended up starting to go. Saw my friends, and I got back into it, and that's when I decided, you know what, I'm gonna give this professional a try, see what happens. And little to nothing, 2 times world champion, IBF
Hey,
and WBA unified champion.
hey, I bet you that. By the way, congrats. I think as I mentioned you before, we met in New York. We actually were very short on time because you were to do business right there, and everyone is kind of busy. But I always take and I always tell the fighters when I bump into them, I say respect to all of them, even if you lose a fight, because to me it's a sport. I can't take that really thing personal if I would be a fighter, but I like to respect every fighter because first of all, we gotta give a respect to both opponents because whether one loses or one wins is always a risk, and any wrong punch that you could receive or the opponent can receive that could end really wrong. So nobody wants to see that.
No. I mean, it's part of the sport. You know, we don't want to see it, but it happens. You know, and everybody that steps in the ring deserves that respect. You know, win or lose, you know, it's not easy getting up there. You know, we try to give the best of ourselves to even to the point to please the people. You know, and I mean, everybody deserves respect. You know, especially especially a boxer to go up the ring. And like you said, like injuries happen. We don't like seeing that, but it's part of the sport, you know. So by the end of the day, I believe every fighter should get respect.
Exactly. I always like to encourage, and I know people sometimes will criticize me and say, "Hey, why you gotta talk like this and mention that?" One thing that I know and I seen from I've been behind the scenes and watching the fighters and all that, they really take risks even in the sparring sessions. They do.
Hmm.
So to me, it's always respect for each and every one. And as I mentioned to you, 2 times world champion, and I bet you sacrificed a lot. Can you tell us what was for you to sacrifice all these things that you achieve and you became a world champion and eventually, I mean, I think it was hard for you. Can you tell us what was the experience?
Well, even to now, it hasn't been easy, But like, if you got big dreams, you gotta sacrifice a lot. It's not easy, but you gotta like keep yourself focused and you go. You gotta be disciplined. You gotta be all in, because you can't be a foot in and a foot out. If you're trying to do something with this sport, you gotta be all in. Even in life, you're trying to achieve something, you're trying to do something, you're trying to be up there in your career. You got to concentrate on it and give it all. And sacrifice. What haven't I sacrificed? I sacrificed time with my family, relationships. Uh, I believe I have sacrificed a lot, and but you know what? It's by the end of the day, it's worth it because I'm doing what I love. And thank God everything's been good. And we're just waiting for the opportunity again to get back on top. So just a little bit more, and we'll just wait on that shot and take advantage of it.
It's true. I really agree with your words because I know, as you mentioned, you sacrifice relationships, even I guess, and I bet you family birthdays, and I bet you your own birthday because I seen that as I mentioned you, I seen from other fighters they have to go to the gym and work out, and whether other people are enjoying time with their families, you guys are in the gym or running or doing any drills or sparring session, and that's why I like to encourage every fighter, I mean every fans, that we have to respect, all the opponents who step into the ring. At the end of the day, we want to see both fighters come out safety, regardless if it's one win and one lose. That's part of the game, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's. I mean, you try to get somewhere, you gotta sacrifice. Like I say, nothing, even in life, try to get to your goal. You gotta learn how to sacrifice, be disciplined, stick to the road, and give it all. And yeah, like you said, boxing, anything can happen. We don't like to see that, but it happens. So respect to everybody by the end of the day.
It's true. Again, what would it be right now for you, or what's your goal? Would you like to face one of the champions that they belong in your division, or would you jump in different weight division? Because I know people are after passing by the years, you feel like, oh, I feel kind of heavy. I don't think I will belong in this weight class, and I think I gotta jump. Is this the case that you will jump in a different weight class, or you will stay in the weight class that you belong right now?
Well, first of all, I don't struggle a lot with making the weight.
Hmm.
So if anything, I believe with a good diet, I could go down to bantamweight 118. If opportunity comes for a 126, I'll even move up. And by like challenging the champions, I mean, I'm the mandatory for the WBC Luis Nery, and I still got unfinished business with MJ, the guy that I lost to, and Fulton. I called him out already. So I'm here to. I'm not to waste time. I'm here to fight the best, and whoever is willing to take the challenge, I'm ready when they are.
That's great. I know fight fans would love to see all these great matches. If the opportunity comes to face one of the champions, you will do that. I know the type of warrior you are, and that's why one of the I mean, your nickname says everything. I mean, with all respect to you, there's no that probably people will take it wrong from me, but you could be become a model, modeling T-shirts and all of that, but you decide to become a professional boxer. Where does it come from? Your nickname, the babyface assassin.
modeling. I chose boxing. You know.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, yeah. The babyface assassin. It was given to me by my manager trainer, Eddie Gonzalez. Before, as a kid, they used to call me Chapito. So once I turned professional, I told Eddie, like, hey, you know what? Give me a professional name. You know, Chapito. Like, come on. That was when I was a kid. Now, like, so he did. He called me. You got the baby face, and you're assassin in the ring. So we're gonna call you baby face assassin.
And that's how it
That's how
came.
y'all started.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
that's a great nickname actually because it would be if I were you in your shoes, I would say, "Hey, give me something better." That's something that, but that's true. I mean, as I mentioned, you all due respect to you. There's no over here like probably would say something, but I guess um as I mentioned, you could be modeling because I seen guys like, hey, they do modeling for sneakers, shoes, pants, and all that. But you decided to become a professional boxer, and that's how you continue doing it and continue moving forward. Um, Roman, before we wrap it up this interview, what message would you like to bring in regards to all the fight fans and right now all these things that we're facing global? Because I believe the pandemic has really made an impact to everyone. What message would you like to
Yeah.
give to the fight fans?
Well, to the fight fans, keep up with me. You can follow me on Instagram _babyface assassin _ or you can follow me on Twitter, Team Roman Boxing. I'll keep everybody updated with any news I got from the fight. And to all the people, thank you for your support. And keep an eye on with me, and we're still gonna give our best, and we'll get back on top as soon as possible. And to everybody that's going through this pandemic, I know it's hard. I know it's not easy, but you know we still gotta grind. We still gotta work hard. And get ready for an opportunity might come. It's maybe around the corner. So stay ready. Be very disciplined. Stay focused, and be ready to achieve your goal when the time comes.
Great message. Danny Roman, it's a pleasure always to speak right now in camera. I mean, I would love this. It could be face to face, but since the pandemic and everything is going around, I think we have to, for now, do the type of interviews. I mean, I would love to shake my hand and say things in person, but this is the way that we have to do it. So we will stay tuned. Guys, please follow the account and stay tuned on all those news that Roman will mention you in order that his upcoming fight. Thanks for everything for your time, and I really appreciate and I wish you nothing but the best. God bless you. Stay safety, and we're definitely gonna continue keep an eye on you.
Thank you, Christian, for having me here, and I'm excited. You know, and I'll keep everybody updated. Thank you.
Thank you, Danny Roman with us, joining us from California. Thanks again. Appreciate it.